Hey everybody, it's Monday, and I finally got some time here to do another reaction. Allie has given me a list of songs to listen to, and the first one actually on the list is a song by Radiohead called Permanent Daylight. So I guess it says My Iron Lung up there, and I know I reacted to that song already. So I guess that's the name of the album. So this is Permanent Daylight. Yeah, I have the right song here. I have the lyrics up over here. I have the video up over here. And, knowing that it's a Radiohead song, I know it's going to be interesting and intriguing and all of the above. Let's take a listen. Echo. So you're going from Lydian mode to like a minor mode. So I'll stop. I'll listen. That's cool. G Lydian. That's so cool. Cool tune, really cool, short and sweet, and certainly, you know, what more of what I've been expecting from this band. Just interesting, different, unique chord progressions that are different. If you listen to some of my other videos, especially the ones that talk about music and how people listen to music and things like that, there's a fine line that I walk. I've been thinking about this lately. When you're doing a reaction video on a reaction channel, I've been watching some lately, and there's different ways to listen to music, and I would say that a majority of the people who are non-musicians are going to listen to music in a way that's just purely emotional. It makes me feel a certain way, and I like it. I like the way it makes me feel. It makes me happy, makes me sad, makes me remember something, makes me excited, whatever. You're just reacting emotionally to the song. Perfectly valid way to listen to music, and probably the most common. But as a musician, I like the nuts and bolts of what makes it work, and sometimes the thought behind the choices of how the notes go together, and the sounds, painting with the sounds, that gives me an emotional response as well. But I'm thinking of it in a little higher level there, where I'm thinking about the music and how it goes together, and what's so cool about it. So I find that some people are just interested in just a reaction, emotional reaction. So I try to listen through to the song one time all the way through in the beginning without talking too much. But you noticed I went in there and said, "Oh, this sounds like G Lydian mode," and this, so I got to keep myself from doing that. Usually, I'll go through the song a second time, and that's when I'll kind of tear it apart, if it's tear apart worthy. And this song certainly is. But let's talk about it on the most basic level here. I love the sounds. They're just cool sounds. Everything about it sounded great. Doesn't matter what they are and what the theory is behind it. It sounds cool. It has this sense of like awe and wonder, even though the lyrics are a little bit, just a little hard to decipher, as usual with most Radiohead stuff. Now, I don't know if these lyrics are about a specific situation. Sounds like it could be. The easiest way to sleep at night is to carry on believing that I don't exist. That's pretty deep lyrics. I think a lot of people, whether they put it that way or not, especially if you're in some really traumatic time in your life and you can feel the weight of whatever emotional trauma that you are going through or have been going through, and sometimes you just wonder when it's all going to be over, and sometimes it's easier to carry on believing that I don't exist. That's what I get out of those two lines. And then the next two lines: the easiest way to sell your soul is to carry on believing that we don't exist. Now, that's, to me, seems a little more about society, you know what I mean? And just to not care about other people and to not care about certain aspects of society and belonging and things like that. At least that's, again, what I'm getting out of it. It must be hard with your head on backwards. So now, is he talking about a specific person? Or is he talking about, is this a reflection saying that I'm all screwed up, my head's on backwards, So I'm not sure either way, but that's kind of what I'm getting out of it. I'm sure you guys have way more insight into it than I do. So just let me know what if this is about a specific situation. I mean, I can scroll down and find out, but for me, the whole joy of doing this is to not know anything about the music and listen to it and hear it for the first time. I was always like that, when I was growing up. I'm a teenager and, in my 20s and 30s, and I'd be going to the movies with people and somebody would start talking about the movie and I'd be like, no. I don't want to know anything about it. I don't even want to know if it's a science fiction or a Western. I don't want to know anything about it. I want to go into there with this total open slate and just experience the movie the way it is without any expectations, And that's the way I like to listen to this music as well. Now, even though the song was really short, I bet you there's a cool segue, maybe not even a segue, but I bet it's positioned in a unique way in the album. So at some point, I think I want to listen to the whole album. If I haven't heard a lot of the songs already, Allie would know. I should keep a list. I have to always go back to my channel and see what I've listened to before, because we've done so many things now. It's hard to remember exactly which songs were on which albums and things like that. So ask me about any Steely Dan songs or Beatles songs or, anything from back in the day, and I'll tell you what albums they were on. But new stuff, as I'm accumulating all this now, little hard to keep track of, it's a lot of new information. But anyway, I love it just an emotional level. It's a great tune. It's it sounds I want to say like intelligent. There's something about the song and the way the music's put together that makes me feel like pieces are falling into place. That there's this whole mess going on around you, but the way the music is working, it's falling into place. And I think one of the things I like about it is that the way those little guitar licks are going over the bass line. So now I'm getting into the music tech part of it. I'm going to go back to the beginning and let's start to listen to this, because I heard some cool stuff. Like I said in the beginning, I heard melodies that were Lydian mode, and I'll explain what that means in a minute if you're not sure. Right there. So there it is. Let me turn on the keyboard camera so maybe you can see what I'm doing up there. Okay, there we go. So, I was talking about Lydian mode. I'm hearing, and that's going to be over. Let's hear that again. Make sure I got that right. Let's go back. Okay, so this is what's really interesting. One of the things I love about Radiohead is that they put chords together that, quote unquote, kind of shouldn't go together in pop music. And my theory is, because when I was listening to one of the first things they did, I heard a few, at first I was listening to, Ali had me listen to Pyramid Song, Weird Fishes, and it just was like, just so cool. And then we went back and listened to Creep, and it's a song that I've, of course, heard when it was out. And, for years, every once in a while as a musician, you'll go out, you'll host open mic nights because you can get a gig during the week and you can make some money with tips, and you just get to play an extra night to get to play and challenged by, because everybody wants you to play with them when they go up to do their thing. And you're kind of challenged doing stuff that you've never done before, and you're doing it by ear. It's a good way to improve your ear. Anyway, everybody and their crippled dog was playing Creep. And it was just, man, I just didn't want to ever hear that song again. And when I was listening back to it while I was doing one of these videos, I realized it sounded like an old Hollies song. And the more research I did to it, I realized, yeah, it does sound like that Holly song. And they actually did kind of get sued. I don't know if they got sued. I know it was settled out of court. They did it amicably. Because, as a musician, you can't help but, write something and use a few chords that somebody else used before. It's impossible not to, And my theory is that, Radiohead kind of changed a little bit after that. At least this is what I'm seeing. Their albums came out, Kid A, and people are like, what the hell is this? And I would swear, I would bet money that somewhere, like Tom York was saying, I don't ever want to go through this again. I'm taking chords that should not go together, that nobody else has ever used in this manner before, and I'm going to write some damn songs. And that's what it sounds like to me. So here we have songs, we have notes, bass notes that are a tritone away, and this is an ugly interval. If you were going, it just, you don't hear that in pop music. So here he is in G using this Lydian scale. But when you go to that, so in other words, it acts as like kind of the glue between these two technically unrelated notes, but all of a sudden now, then I'm hearing him, move around these notes and everything, and going through all this weird unrelated stuff. Somebody's blowing up my phone. Let me see what that's about. So yeah, you've got these unrelated things, and they're being glued together by this melody that hooks them both together. And I noticed that on a lot of Radiohead stuff where there'll be unrelated chords, and Tom York is singing really high, like falsetto, and it's this thread that kind of binds these crazy chords together and makes the whole thing work. And then when you have these jagged guitar lines going in and out over it, it's magic. It's so cool. So let's keep going here. G, C sharp minor. Ooh. F sharp, sorry. Ooh, C. C sharp minor again. D. So that's so, ooh. That was so weird. So he did a Lydian thing off of the C sharp. So you have this, and then he's up to C sharp. And then, to that C, which is really cool, back to C sharp minor, then up to D. Then back to, and then all of a sudden he's in C sharp instead of C sharp minor. He hits that sharp 4 on there and gives it that Lydian sound. So inventive, so cool. Let's go back. C sharp minor, D of some sort, C sharp, G natural. Benson on the guitar, so cool. So he's following that same melody with the vocal line. What is that note? Down to G. Oh, it goes down to the G sharp. So it's it's so cool. That's just so freaking cool. I really, really like that. So, so here's enjoying the music on a whole different level. Just thinking, look at how he put this together. This is so cool. So, even if you don't know anything about music, you listen to it and you go, that sounds kind of freaky. That sounds kind of cool. But if you do know something about music, you listen to it and you go, that's intriguing. Look at that. Look at the way you put that together. You can throw chords together that technically don't go together. And when I say technically don't go together, I mean there's no rules. You can do whatever you want to do. But traditionally, people write a certain way because they've heard that music over and over and over and over and over, and it just comes natural to them. So these are situations where someone's writing music and just kind of forging new territory, and I always find it really intriguing the way he just makes it work. It just makes it work. It's chords that shouldn't go together that go together. And this is where music theory, this is the weird thing about music theory. Sometimes people will say, well, do you need to know about music theory, to play music or to write music? No, you don't. I happen to have a degree in music theory and composition. And all that really does is it makes my ear, it makes it a little easier. I can hear something right away and go, oh, that's Lydian. That's why I can play by ear, because I'll hear that. And if somebody says, hey, we're gonna play a Radiohead song. Do you know that song, Permanent Daylight? I'll go, yeah, G, C sharp minor, G, C sharp minor, C, C sharp minor, D, C sharp minor. Ooh, then we're gonna throw a G natural in, only because I know the framework of how it's supposed to work. But would that help me write a song like that? No, your ear is your guide. Your ear is your guide. And then, maybe if you know something about music theory, that might help you with some of the nuts and bolts making things work, but you don't need that. You need your ear. So if you know something about music theory, you know what I'm talking about. And if you don't and you're interested in it, you might be listening to this going, I never thought of it that way. That's pretty cool. I like that. And then what happens is that ends up in your arsenal of your musical toolbox. So one day you'll be playing something and you'll hit a wrong note and you'll go, oh, wait a minute. I know what that is. I like that. I'm going to use that. It's lots of happy accidents that happen when you're writing songs. All right, I'm going to go back. Let's see a little bit more. There's your D. C sharp, it's going to come now. Here comes the G natural. I love it. That's such a cool sound. I love it. Down to G. Oh, G sharp. And that A is kind of a pivot chord, a pivot note. Not sure which way it's going to go. And now it's doing that. So I heard that kind of being harmonized, that little line there, over there. Let's see that. It was harmonized. It was G sharp on there. It was really weird. We're back to G. Going up the scale. I love this part. It sounds almost like I don't even want to stop it. It's too cool. This is I like this. That's so cool. Very cool. Very cool. The sounds at the end where I was saying I didn't want to stop it. They're like bells. You ever hear like wind chimes, and they're pleasantly random, but they're all kind of related in a weird way, and they sometimes repeat in a cycle that's unusual, and that's kind of what that sounded like to me. That idea of church bells ringing or just wind chimes ringing, just these random sounds and everything. So. Really cool song. I really like everything about this song. What a cool band. So tell me something about this song. Tell me when it was written. Tell me, I do see down here that there's a live version of it. So I'll get to that some point. But anyway, Permanent Daylight. Really cool. Really cool. All right, guys. That's it for tonight. I'll see you guys soon. Later.